Welcome to the Rockin' Rich Lynch on the Radio Show. I'm your host, Rockin' Rich Lynch, inviting you to join me as we discover great new music by bands and artists from around the world. With interviews, music news and reviews, great prizes, and a whole lot more. Visit us online today at soundpress.net for great music promotion and publicity. Hi, this is Rockin' Rich Lynch, and you're listening to the very best of Rockin' Rich Lynch on the radio. We recently moved our operations from the New York, New Jersey market to Nashville, Tennessee, and we are now looking for a production and broadcast partner in the region to take the radio show to new heights. If you're a band, musician, solo act, or represent a musical project in any genre, please visit soundpress.net and our new site, musiccitynashville.net, to learn how we can help get your message to the world. Now, please enjoy this great interview from our archives. And we are back, everybody, and big surprise today. Some more great guests from the 80s hits strip CD. First up is Martha Davis. You know her from the Motels. Martha, how are you?
I'm very good, sir. How are you?
Pretty good. Sweltering up here in New Jersey today, but...
I was going to ask you if it was a little... I heard from my... some bandmates are out there in New York, and they said it's hot.
It is the summertime.
Yes.
I can't complain, though. Could be worse situations happening. Let me just give out the web address. It's marthadavis.com. Do you have a MySpace site? Yeah,
I do. And because I'm completely computer illiterate and lame that way, I imagine it's Martha Davis, whatever.
After MySpace.com, Martha Davis.
Yeah.
So check that out as well. You were on the 80s hits strip CD put out by Sidewinder Music, along with 15 other artists from the 80s, a lot of familiar songs. How'd that come about, and how was the process to decide to put this edition of Only the Lonely on the record?
This is where this interview gets really interesting, because I don't really know. All I know is we actually had recorded, my manager had suggested recording acoustic versions of the top Motel songs, Suddenly Last Summer, Only the Lonely. And this thing came to him, I guess, and he said, he sent him Only the Lonely. Next thing I know, I'm going down to play this great party at the Viper Room in L.A., and Thomas Dolby's hosting, and Tommy Two-Tone, and Janie Wheatland. I'm seeing some old faces, in other words. It was really, really fun.
That sounds like a 1980s high school reunion.
It was. It was totally, it was like a John Hughes film, I don't know. It was.
It sounds fun, though, Martha.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been talking to a bunch of people. There's another site out there. I don't know if you've heard of it yet. It's called youtube.com, and I spent some time this afternoon watching some old Motels videos on there.
Yes. Yes, I'm aware of that site. It has become the new favorite place for everyone to go, and it's amazing how much stuff you can see on there. So, there's a few videos there. I don't know how many they've got. I don't know if they've got every single one, which I'm hoping they don't, but I made a lot of videos in my day.
Yeah, they had a number of them. What's the legality of that? As far as, do you have any idea? Are they just allowed to play videos without your permission?
I'm not really sure because there's a lot of new formats now that I don't know if the legalities have been straightened out. In terms of I would imagine that there has to be some royalty paid on the song itself. I don't know if there is a royalty structure for videos per se. There's a lot of gray areas now. There's this whole internet craziness that nobody knows what. And my feeling is this: if somebody wants to look me up or look at my stuff, I'm all for it.
Sure.
It's I have a new album coming out, and I send the early copies to friends, and I say burn them, share them, send them around. Because I think that we have to realize that we are in an age of sharing where information is everybody's information. Some of that makes us uneasy because it should, but at times it's a wonderful thing because I'm a firm believer that the more we know, the less frightened we are. So information is a good thing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Martha, that's cool. As far as the 80s, did you guys get royalties on the videos that were being played on MTV?
I think we just got paid on the song. I'm not sure that there was a. This is a good lawyer question.
Because that could really ring the bell for some people, yourselves included.
Yeah. That's a good question to ask. We were just talking to my lawyer, so I should ask him that.
Well,
thank you.
On YouTube, I saw "Take the L Out of Lover." Remembered that song? That was a great tune. So I pretty much was watching that one and Only the Lonely. But another great track from the Motels there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now,
By the way, those two videos were done by Russell McKahey, who went on to. I mean, he is a wonderful director. We did both of those videos on one shoot that cost only $60,000 for both of those videos, and they were beautiful, shot on film. So that was in the early days when things were free.
Right. Still a lot of money to get a video done, and even by 80s standards, but not really on the other side too. But I remember Russell's name from watching all the MTV news updates, because I was like 15 when the channel started. So I was there all the time.
Yep.
I actually wasted a lot of my life those first 3. I wish I could have some years back, but I swear to God, so many hours just in front of the TV watching MTV. It was a dream come true. Actually,
it was. And it changed the face of music as we know it. In some ways really good, in some ways not so good. There was that old video killed the radio star thing that's partially true.
Right. Well, let me ask you about a couple other television shows. I know you guys were on Bands Reunited, and you're also on Hit Me Baby One More Time. I think you might have been the only artist that was involved with both programs. Did you have any? Did you see any greater impact from being involved with either one of those two shows?
I hate to say it, but television has a whopping impact.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for me to say that because I'm usually very sort of uncomfortable on television. It's not one of my favorite mediums because I just, I don't know. I basically watch HBO and that's it. And
but from the band's point of view, wouldn't it be a good thing to kind of...
It's an amazing, the outreach to people. I mean, people respond to television probably more than they do to anything. And that's why, and MTV broke that barrier. I think MTV opened that door. And now, we got hits on the website that we hadn't experienced ever, from just the Hit Me Baby One More Time or the Bands Reunited. So I need that. I love it. It's great. I'm all for it. It's
right.
just I always get a little shy when I'm live in front of a television camera. So
yeah, well, that's understandable, Martha. Now, let me ask you, Martha. People might not realize that you led a few hardworking indie bands going back to the early '70s, and you weren't just the overnight success that you appeared to be. Due to the video success in the '80s. So you had a lot of belief in yourself. I mean, that's what you wanted to do, huh?
Well, my first band was in 1971, and that was like the actual predecessor to the Motels. We were called the Warfield Foxes. This was in Berkeley, California. And that's a long time ago. And we moved down to L.A. to try to make it overnight in 75, and I finally got signed in 79 with a totally different band. But then there was little, top 40 bands in between there and this and that. But I was also trying to raise 2 kids at the same time, so it was a little crazy.
So it gave you 10 years to hone your craft, though.
Yep. Well, I tell everyone that wants to get in this business, even though it appears to be overnight success, you have to put in, because it is one of those professions that if you hit, it is a fairly lucrative profession. In any other equal profession, like if you want to be a lawyer or a doctor or something, it's 8 years, and you can count on 8 years, and I think that's a good time to see if, because you got to have a lot of gumption to do it, and once you get in the business, it's not easy to stay there, and especially nowadays, when I was signed, there was a lot of this old thing called artist development, which I don't really think exists.
Right, it's pretty much gone by the wayside a lot.
Yeah, so now it's like you have a hit, and thank you very much, and if you can't really come up with something great the next time, we don't need you because we've got another kid with another hit, So it's pretty much a factory now, and it's a little scary for kids that are trying to do it,
So, but it is true you can have a handful of hit songs and be living happily for the rest of your life if you do it right.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. I never had a number 1 song. I only had number 9s. In fact, I used to tell them if I get another hit song, I want it to be a number 8 because I'll work my way to the top. But it's those two songs, Suddenly Last Summer and Only Lonely, have basically paved my way ever since. And I've never stopped doing music, and I never will, and I've been doing it since I was 8 years old. So it's not like I can't stop doing music.
Right. Well, I was going to ask you, like, your advice for some of the new artists, and you pretty much just gave it, because there are a lot more people reaching for that brass ring. I mean, maybe more today than even back then, just because people, see how lucrative it can be. If it's like the gold miners almost, everybody's going out and trying. Plus, with the internet, with technology nowadays, there seems...
And with Star Search.
All that stuff's getting sort of oversaturated. I was watching the new one on ABC last night. I really didn't have a lot of interest, but I still like American Idol a whole lot.
Yeah. The thing that my biggest piece of advice to people is, because to me those things aren't even creating artists, they're creating celebrities. We live in a time of celebrities and not artists. I want to see more artists. I want to see more writers with their own point of view, not listening to other people's music and sounding like other people, but sounding like themselves. I want to hear people that are unique, that have a voice that we've never heard before, that have songs that we've never heard before. I'm really tired of derivative. I'm tired of people emulating other people. And I think it empowers a person to be creative with their own soul as opposed to somebody else's. So that's my advice. Be yourself and do not try to sound like, the next Beyonce.
Yeah, here, Martha. I mean, I do wish, though, today that there was one single source that we could go to like we did in the 80s, because MTV gave us, what they could give us at the time, because it was a new medium, and, a lot of like, fringe people were getting like exposure too. It was a very, like, in the very first 2 years of that project, it was a very cool thing that you could see on there, and there's nothing like that now. Maybe there's something called Fuse.
Well, maybe there's something you could do about that.
We're working on it. We're doing this radio show here, so we're trying to break a lot of indie and unsigned people along with talking to you guys. So that's you'll hear this in a couple of weeks when the show goes live. But you had MarthaDavis.com is the website. We're talking to Martha Davis, the legendary leader of the band Motels, or the Motels, I should say. And you did allude to earlier that you have a new project coming out soon, Martha?
I'm going to send it to you, dude. You can break this unsigned band.
Okay, so it's going to be an EP or a full?
I have, basically the album came out as, it turned into an album and an EP, because there was like 14 songs, and it seemed right to split them up. You know how they tell you what to do, those songs. Mm-hmm. And I have a great new band. I mean, my band is like, it's a super group, and right now they're all off on tour. Like, my guitar player Clint Walsh is playing with Gnarls Barkley. My rhythm section is playing with an unsigned band, but very close to being signed, called Monsters Are Waiting. I have Nick Johns plays keyboards for me, and he's out with Ben Lee. Uh-huh. So yeah, they're great young guys. It's a wonderful sounding album, dark as usual, because that's how I do it. But I will send it to you, sir.
And is that available now for fans to acquire?
It's not available for the peoples, because we're actually trying to find a deal. Seeing if we can. So, but I'm spreading the word as far as I can.
Very good.
And we're playing shows, and we're including some of that material with the shows. So.
And if not, become your own distributor, because a lot of famously mainstream bands are doing that and having pretty good success too. It is a lot of hard work though. But
yep.
Well, Martha, I look forward to getting that record from you when you get it picked up by a label, and hopefully we'll see you on the road very soon. And I do appreciate you taking the time out to talk with me today.
My pleasure. You have a wonderful day, and stay cool.
Okay, bye, Martha.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Rockin' Rich Lynch on the Radio Show, part of the SoundPress.net radio network. Remember, if you're a band or artist looking for promotion, or if you'd like to sponsor this show or add this program to your station, please get in touch with us today at SoundPress.net.